Wow. Good afternoon, good day, good morning, wherever you happen to be on this planet. Welcome back to another episode of the Protect the Dream Project. I am your host, Mark DeLeon. It's been a while since we've put up an episode. That's because we took some time off for summer and all the things that come with summer. But, again, welcome. Now, the goal of the Protect the Dream Project is to be a resource. We want to help you move forward. We want to inspire you, to encourage you. And I forgot to start recording. That's not a good thing. Let's start the recording process. There we go. All right. So we want to encourage you. And, we want to help you persevere, to give you the tools that you need to make your dreams a reality. But along the way, we also want to help you protect your dream. To help you protect you from the things that can derail you. So we're going to not only talk about the good feel stuff, the confidence building stuff, but the practical stuff, the things that will give you the courage to move forward, the things that will sustain you. And being that I am a life insurance agent along the way, maybe some life insurance thrown in there for a rainy day, as well as investment, those kind of things. So today, we brought back a guest, which we spoke to back in, I think it was February, March, just before tax season or just during tax season. Andrew Smith, if you give you an opportunity to go back and take a look at that video. Andrew Smith is a local Greater Toronto accountant. Great guy. I've known him for quite a number of years, but I'm not going to do the introduction. I will let him tell you about himself. So, Andrew.
How you doing?
Good afternoon. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Oh, I should mention that today's actually a unique day. Not only is it the first episode back, but this is our first actual in-studio guest. Yeah, wow. See? In studio, right? Yes. Definitely. So, Andrew, thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me today here.
Glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Now, we know you're an accountant, so tell us a little bit more about Andrew Smith.
Well, firstly, I'm a father, a husband, father of two boys, Jelani and Jabari. They're now 20 and 28, so they're not boys anymore, they're men. Husband to Janise Smith. And we've been married for 30 years, been together for 40 years. And I am also a CPA and a CA. I've had my business for about 30 years also, and very successful business in the GTA. That's a little bit about me.
Excellent. So now the reason we're here to talk, our conversation today is called Finding Life After Stroke.
Yes.
So back in 2019.
Yes, March.
Yeah. For you it was March. For me it was January. We kind of experienced similar surprises, I guess is a good thing to say, in the world of health. For me, I got a call one January morning, just shortly after Christmas, to come race to the hospital because my father had a stroke. And that really threw me for a loop. And, but the story is not about me. The reason I'm here is because we have a similar experience, I think. And following that, in February, another friend of ours had a stroke. And then in March, I was extremely surprised to hear that you were facing, and Janise were facing the same situation.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the circumstance.
It's the circumstance, I'm sure, is like everybody else's circumstance. You're just going through life, you're busy doing what you do every day, and then all of a sudden you get something from left field hits you. I had found out about Janice's stroke actually from I was working at my office. She was working at home. She had a home office, and she gave me a call. And every husband has received this call. I'm not feeling well. I'm not myself today. And I kind of took it very lightly. I said, get some sleep, get some rest, etc. And then her words started to slur. And this was something different right now. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm coming home right now. I'll drop everything and I'll come home. The good thing is that I live only 15 minutes from where my office is, but that 15-minute ride was a ride where I captured every red light, every parked car,
Yeah,
every pedestrian
you're racing and yeah,
racing and
everything's getting
getting
your way.
nowhere real fast. And and during that time I was driving, a lot of things were going through my mind. I thought, she just she never really gets a lot of sleep. She doesn't eat properly. She works late at night. And then it switched to, you know what? These are all the signs that I've ever heard of stroke, slurring of speech, and that being one of the main things that identified it as a stroke. But I still said, nope, she's too young to have a stroke. She's only 53 years old. She's quite healthy. And then I kept driving. When I did reach my driveway, I didn't even. I just swung my door open, didn't even close the car door. I barely turned the car off. Ran into the front door, unlocked the front door, and just started screaming out her name, Janise, Janise, Janise. Of course, I got no answer. I ran downstairs to the basement where her home office was, and I found her basically unconscious and slouched over, and the home telephone that she used to call me, was dangling from its curly cord, and that's when I knew it was real.
Wow, wow, wow. I think I don't know about you. I don't do well with those kind of situations, right? But it it forces you to say, okay, to step up and put out all that other stuff out of your mind. And say, okay, what's the next steps? How are we going to deal with this? And just the process of gathering yourself is always hard.
Absolutely.
Now, through your process, or through Janice's process of being in the hospital and I guess recovery, and we'll get to that afterwards. But you started doing something, and which I really took notice of. And to be honest with you, you surprised me. You really surprised me. It seemed to bring out something in you that I didn't. I mean, I've known you for 30 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I never thought that you had this in you. It never occurred to me. You were doing a lot of posts, and they were really, really, really very heartfelt. Can you tell us a little bit about that process? I mean, what was it for you? Is this how your book came about, or is this?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what happened initially, like, just to give you a bit more of the story, the ambulance came and the fire brigade came, and they got her to the hospital, and it took her about a week to wake up. She was unconscious for a week, and I was just going through a bit of turmoil there. I didn't know what to do. Through the process, she did wake up, and she did get better, etc. But through that process, I had family from all over. I have family, in Europe, family in the Caribbean, family in the States, family in Africa, everywhere. Everybody's just calling, they're texting, they're writing, and just want to know what's going on, and friends and family, obviously too. And I would always be starting right at the beginning again, talking about my drive home from the office and rolling back there, and then just every time I'd go back there, I was there, and just tears are flowing, the emotions are just going crazy, and it's hard to get the story out. And as a resolution to this, I said, how do I find a solution to this? So what I ended up doing was just writing journals. And so I created a journal that I had a email listing, I had a WhatsApp listing, I put it on Twitter, I put it on Facebook, and I put it on Instagram. And so anybody who followed me from any of those areas, and I even had people on text too. So I was trying to cover everything, because I didn't want to go back to starting the story from the beginning again, because it would crush me every time. And what happened was I would throw these posts out on a daily basis. I'm very much inspired by music, so a lot of my posts would be inspired by a particular song, a particular artist, which brought me to the situation that I was writing about, and I just started writing from there. And I wrote for a while, and then I stopped writing. Then everybody would flood me. What's going on now? What's going on now? So it's like, I'm in this. So it just became a thing where I never stopped. And that was I think I wrote my first post, must be about March of 2019. And from that day, I've written every day from there. I haven't stopped writing. Writing's a part of me now. It's part of my process. Whether it's post or whether it's poetry, whatever it is, it's a way of me dealing with my emotions, dealing with the struggles, dealing with the challenges that we have, and a way of emoting, getting it out there, and just flushing myself of it, so that I can start the day, and so that I can get on with the day and get on with today's challenges. So it's really medicine for me. As much as it was information for other people, it kind of selfishly became just medicine for me. And it's all about me now.
So this is the book here, right?
Yes.
Rebuilding Janise.
Yes.
Man, I have been stunned by this book. Not because I think the author is stunned, but I've been really impressed. I've been reading through it, and one of the themes, I guess, that has come to me in this book is the theme of time. Mm. Everything and every page that you read is about time. It's about filling time. It's about patience and time. It's about growth in time. It's about looking back at life and times. It's about it's really time. It's hard to you got to read the book. I'm having a hard time putting it into words.
But it's when you're struck with an illness in your family, be it yourself or a family member, it's all about time. Your relationship is really built on time. What you say is very profound, and it's exactly what it is. I ended up really looking back at our time together. I met Janise when we were in grade 7 and 8. We started dating when we were 16 years old, and this year we're 56. So it's man. We've been together for 40 years. It's crazy, And so I started reflecting on the time that we've been together and what it's meant to me, what it's meant to her, hopefully. And then because of some of the remnants of her the illness that she got, the stroke, memory was an issue where she was missing some long-term memories, and she doesn't have a strong short-term memory. So things will happen in a day and she won't remember what happens in that day. So my thing is not even about building building memories. It's about building moments now. So moments in time. So I want to make every moment in time a good moment in time for her. And it's a great way for us all to live. Make every moment a beautiful moment, and then you'll have a beautiful life. And it's all about time.
Because you don't know when, right? I mean,
no idea.
Look at this week. If you want to use the Queen, for example, she installed a prime minister on, I don't know, let's say Thursday, and died on a Friday. So, it's about time, right?
Yeah.
So what were some of the challenges you faced in writing the book?
Well, it wasn't even a book.
Okay.
I had no idea that a book was going to come of this. I was dealing with stuff. It was my way of purging and dealing with what was in front of me. And then as I would write every day, more and more people would touch certain people, and depending on the topic, depending on the subject, depending on where people were in their lives, it hit them. And I just got so many requests to say that, you've got to document this and you've got to put this in a book. And I'm like, just writing, you know what I mean? I'm not a writer. I've just written about tax stuff and accounting stuff. I don't know nothing.
Yeah, the board
stuff. Yeah, exactly. But one thing that this experience had enabled me to do, it really opened up a portal. And that portal wasn't hell. It was a portal, though. It was actually a portal to my emotional side, to my creative side, that got opened up. And through writing, as I said, I've written every day from March of 2019. From that, I now have a book of poetry that's going to come out in the fall, and it's just like writing has been something that has been really therapeutic for me. So it wasn't even a book; it was requested by the people to be a book. So I said, okay, how do I figure this out? How do I create a book out of all these writings? Because they were really memoirs that were written kind of like diaries, daily diaries. So I ended up finding a wonderful publisher who helps people publish, and through that, the rest is history. We got a book out of it.
Well, you just killed my next question. My next question was, how's becoming an author changed the way you look at life?
Oh,
and what have you learned about yourself through the process?
actually, it's really changed how I look at life. I'm very now analytical of everything. I observe everything, because when you write, you kind of you write about your environment, you write about the things around you. My poetry is about my situation, it's about my kids, it's about my relationship with my wife, it's about relationship with friends and family. So I've become it's almost an obsession. I've become very observant. And what happens to me now, I'll be sleeping at night, and then an idea will come up for a poem or something like that, and I'll have to just get up, and it will haunt me until it gets out, and I'll have to write it down and just get it out. So it's a bit of a curse too, because when I feel that I never force myself to write, but when the feeling comes and when the inspiration comes to write, if it's 3 in the morning, I've got to get up and do it. It's just the way. So it's actually enabled me to be truthful about my own emotions, be honest about my emotions, not just my strengths, but also my flaws. You'll find my flaws in my writing too. So it's just enabled me to really be self-analyze who I am and what I'm here for, and what how much time I have on this earth, and what I want people to know about me, what I want people to know. I'm 56 years old. I must be able to tell somebody something I've learned on this earth before I leave it.
For me, I'm always, I always amaze myself. I think sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit, right? I know that sometimes when I sit down and talk to young people, and you see issues or you see problems, and all of a sudden you find yourself saying, okay, well, maybe you should look at things this way or that way, and you don't give yourself enough credit for the life experience that you brought forward, right?
Absolutely.
And you don't necessarily draw on that life experience until you're called to do so, whatever the situation has to be. I mean, look, you have a situation now that your life experience is being drawn from all kinds of different places, right? So how is Janise now? And what do you think Janise has gained from this process? From an experiential point of view, or from a knowledge point of view, or from a growth point of view, good or bad?
Well, I always look at everything as now this had to happen. Everything has to happen in life. Everything is kind of written in life. And whatever challenges that we go through, it's not the actual burden that hits you. It's actually how you carry it. So Janise is fine now. Janise is where she is. She's just to tell you a bit about what changes that we've made. As a result of her stroke, we've just made a 180-degree change to our lives, to our food. Initially starting out doing the paleo diet, then we moved to keto, and now we're basically plant-based eating, and that's where we're sitting for the most health. We exercise every day, be it except Sundays. One day we take off. So it's yoga, resistance training, kickboxing, kettlebells, to just pull-ups and just your own body weight, sit-ups, push-ups, etc. So we make sure we burn, we sweat every day. Watching the children, that's the way to stay young. As a result of that, Janise has lost about 70 pounds. She's down to about 105 pounds now. I was at 215, and I'm down to 180 pounds. So we've become healthier. We do a bunch of supplements too to ensure that we stay healthy, and it's really changed us in terms of physically, changed us in terms of our eating, changed us in terms of just the way we approach life, and understanding that Today isn't even promised, much less much less tomorrow.
True.
So that's where we are.
Excellent. Excellent. Your sons.
Mm-hmm.
You've got two boys.
Two boys, yeah.
Two quite accomplished young men now. I remember them as babies. What is the relationship, or how is their relationship changed or not changed with their mother? How have they gone through the have they grown through the process? What effect has happened on them?
Well, initially, obviously, there was devastation. Why? And then there's the movement on, the acceptance, right? So, of course, if any mothers out there, when they have sons, it's all about, the sons are all about their mothers. Like, I could be in a corner, they'll ignore me for their mom, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
I know that feeling.
So the relationship with the mom is number one, right? And that is unwavered. It hasn't changed. The dynamics, of course, have changed in that where Janice's memory is, she sometimes thinks they're way younger than they are. They're 28 and 20 right now, and sometimes she thinks we have to pick them up from daycare. Sometimes they're in high school, etc. So when she sees them, she gets it. The information is now provided, but there's missing information that happens. So they take care of her, and that's a beautiful thing that they've seen what it is to love and take care of somebody who's loved and taken care of them for all their lives. Also, the example that we have as a couple, as a married couple, as a couple that's been together for 40 years, as married people that's been married for 30 years, mm-hmm. They see how a man must step up for a woman. And sorry, I'm old school.
That's okay, dude. I'm old school in that respect too. I'm very much a traditionalist where that's concerned. I find that we're in a time where it's too easy for people, and it's just kind of a tangent.
Yeah.
Too easy for people to walk away from a situation that they figure, it's too tough, I can't handle. The current, and this is just my anecdotal observations, so please don't beat me up on it. I find that, and I see this in my own children, to be blatantly honest with you. There seems to be this undercurrent of lack of commitment to anything.
Yeah.
When you ask somebody, hey, can we go X, or do you want to do X? It's always, let me get back to you. Or, yeah, sure, but, if something better comes along, they're gone. So, so I agree with you. It's about commitment. It's about living up to the expectations that you said that you're going to take care of.
Yeah, and your word is your bond. I stood up there in a church 30 years ago, and I said, to have and to hold, for sickness and health, and for better, for worse. All those weren't just words for me. We had 350 people in a church, and I testified in front of everybody that that's what I would do. And
I saw you.
You were there.
I saw you. And at that point, you had hair.
I had hair. I never promised that would stay. Unfortunately, not what I would have broke.
So through it all, what was the most difficult part that, from Janice's perspective, that you think was the most difficult? We'll get back to you in a minute. But from Janice's perspective, what do you think was the most difficult part?
Well, she ran everything. If people who knew her before, she had several businesses running all the time. She had, women's events that she did, celebrating women, celebrating mothers, on top of the business that she had. She ran the household. I mean, when she was sick, I had to figure out, how do we pay bills? How do I pay a mortgage? How do I pay credit cards?
You're an accountant,
I'm
right?
the accountant. so it's just like, it was like I was a baby again, right? I'm going to the bank, Mrs. Teller, when does our mortgage come out? And I never dealt with that stuff. She planned vacations. Like I never took vacations. She'd be like, be here at this time, pack, and we're going here. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
everything, and that's all of us. Jelani and Jabari are two boys. I mean, she'd be telling us where we're going, what we're doing, and that I miss that because now I have to be adulting now. I have to be the one to do that. So that's one thing that I was very spoiled. We were all very spoiled by having her in our lives. She was an organizer, and she organized us. She organized her business. She organized everybody. She was she was a fireball too. When she came into a room, everybody just was drawn to her. You know what I mean? And I miss that. But what I understand now is that that was then and this is now. That's it's kind of like if I could just share with you,
Yep.
this is why this is a
Now,
picture.
it
of
might
our
be back
fam-
on the screen. So
Oh, it's back. Okay, go ahead.
let me bring up
Okay.
let me bring up a better.
Let me bring up a picture of it
Yeah,
because of that.
right over top, right
Yeah,
there.
there you go. Sorry, Mark.
That's okay. That's okay. There you go.
There you go.
I'll give it to you all, man. That's all yours.
So there's a concept in this picture too. This is a picture that was gifted to us by our oldest son, Jelani. It's actually hanging in our living room, and what it is, it turned all of us into cartoons, and it's a clear picture, but that was the picture before. So the concept of rebuilding Janise, and it's almost like not just Janise, we're rebuilding our family, we're rebuilding our family ties again. That was the picture that existed before, and now it's been faded, it's been pixelated, it's unclear. So when this picture comes back, it's going to come back clear, strong, but it's going to be a different picture. It's going to be a different dynamic. It's going to be a different relationship that we have. So that's the concept behind that whole thing too, and that's how our lives are now.
Well, I was really taken by the. Let me just get back to this one here.
Yeah.
I was really taken by the format of the book. I was reading, and maybe again it's lack of my observation skills, but when I started seeing the names of the songs that are in the book, I was saying, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. And I would play some of them as I'm reading.
That's the idea.
And
Excellent.
it's like I don't know about you, but sometimes you have a theme song for your day,
Yes.
right? It's running through your head, or a particular or a theme song for your life,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And I thought it was really interesting. Again, going back to time, a lot of the songs have to do with time,
Time. Yeah.
and it brought you to a place where you felt like you were almost a voyeur watching,
Yeah.
and you spoke about you and Janise dancing together,
Yeah.
right? And I could see it. I could see it, and I could see the smile. I could see the anguish. I could see the disturbance in the piece,
Yeah.
and having the music to kind of carry you along. That was pretty good,
Yes. Actually, the original post included the lyrics to the music that you see. And they have these things called copyrights. It's like, wait, I would have been sued by every artist that I love, and I wouldn't love them anymore. So what it was a song would come to me that would be clear in terms of identifying the situation that I wanted to write about. And so what I would do is I would write about that situation, but also tie in the song lyrics of that particular song. And that's why it's music has always been very integral in my life, and it's very integrated into this book. How we got around the whole copyright thing was by, instead of putting the lyrics in, we had to remove all lyrics. So don't y'all sue me.
It's been done. It's been done.
Exactly. So we removed all of the lyrics, but what we did, we put a fake play button, the artist's name and the name of the song. So the vibe is still there. So what I ask people is, when they're on a given page that has a song, go to Spotify, go to YouTube, go to whatever your streaming service is, play that song, and then read the post along with the song, and the vibe will just come out 3D to you.
I can attest to that, because I was doing that,
Yeah.
and it was good. It was
Yes.
it really added. I haven't read a book with that kind of base to it.
Yes.
You sit down and read a book, you look for the plot, you look at all this other stuff,
Yeah.
but I'm sorry to tell you, Andrew, there's not really a plot
There's
run through this, right? And I don't think that's what you're looking for, right? You're looking. I think in this book, it's looking at experience. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, let's what's happened. Again, it's almost like getting the 500-foot view.
Yeah.
What's going on with the Smith family?
Yeah, it's
And,
a year in the life of
yeah,
after stroke, and you're right. That's exactly what it is. So you're a voyeur. You're looking in, seeing what's going on, and then you. The beautiful thing about the book too is what people have been telling me is that they'll read a couple of days, couple of posts, and then they'll leave it alone, and they could come back to it at any time, or even looking at the index if there's a certain song or a certain post or that hits the way that you're feeling on that day, you could read that and just vibe on
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what's the next chapter of your story? Where do you go from here? What's in it for your family?
So we're just gonna continue to do what we do. We're just gonna try to stay as healthy as possible, try to live on this earth as long as possible, and that's that. And then from there, I will not stop writing. I as I mentioned previously, I have a book of poetry coming out, and
Which is called?
which
You have
is
a title for it?
called, yes, I do know the title. It's called A Life in Movement, in Motion Through Time.
Oh, okay.
That's the
Wow.
title.
That's poetic in
It's
itself.
very poetic in
Yeah.
itself. So, and yeah, so that's the name of that one. And then I have other ideas coming afterwards. There may be a secondary book of poetry. There may be a book on the healthy journey that we took.
Right.
Just I have a lot of ideas that are floating through my head, and it's just a matter of putting it down. But from now until I am called by God, I will be writing, and I will be writing every day.
So, where can people get a copy of the book? Let me
Mhm.
just bring this up again.
So really, you can really get it everywhere. Basically, it's in a lot of the online stores now, be it from Walmart to Amazon. You'll be able to not only get the ebook, but you'll be able to get the paperback book, because a lot of the sites are print on demand also.
Right.
So yeah, there's all of the online books. Wherever you get your online books, you'll be able to find it there. Just type in Rebuilding Janise. We did start with Amazon, but we built out by book to Books by a Million, and Indigo, etc. So it's just a matter of whatever your favorite bookseller is. Just type it in, and you'll be able to print out. You'll be able to buy the paperback copy, or you'll be able to buy the ebook. My preference is the ebook. First, I got the paperback, and I was like, my preference is the paperback. First, I got the ebook, and I was like really excited. Oh my God, I wrote a book. But when I got the paperback, to see the color, and it's full color inside too, pictures of us, our family, friends, etc., are throughout the book, and just seeing that in color and seeing it 3D. It's again, I'm old school, so turning pages is huge for me now.
So, if someone wanted to get a authored signed copy of the book, how would they go about doing that?
Oh, simply just reach out to me through email at awfsconsulting@gmail.com, or I even throw my phone number out here, 416-254-4935.
One more time.
416-254-4935, and we'll get you one, man. I'm just happy that people are enjoying the book, and it was a lot to put it together. And when I see people like yourself appreciating it, it's all worth it. And the struggle to get it together, the tears. One of the things I'll tell you too is the big problem I have with the book is that you have to reread it. So
I know.
So if you remember when you were in school, how sick of that essay you were that you read, but this one was even worse because it was so personal and emotional. So as I can't read the book anymore because I'll cry as I read the book, and as I get to certain areas, it's just too emotional for me. So that's what that process was. It was really a painful process, not only because you have to just reread the same thing, but just painful in terms of the emotion and how close the story is to our family and to my heart.
Well, I again, from what I said earlier, one's perspective of your friends, you think you know them, but you don't really know them. No one really knows anybody,
No.
to be honest with you, right? I was impressed by the number of nights that you spent sleeping in a hospital bed when You really didn't have to. You could have gone home, but
3 months.
you were there.
3 months.
Your ability to step up and be the pole that Janise needs to lean on to move forward. Again, I was amazed. Andrew.
Well, to tell you the truth, Mark, you know what? We don't even know ourselves. That's what I learned from this. So it's not even that other people don't know you. You don't know you.
Exactly.
I was like, who's this guy now? Like, I didn't know me. And to throw a little bit of a story that I saw. Janise was in the hospital actually probably about 2.5 months, where I slept at either Scarborough General Hospital or I slept at Providence, and the support was amazing. Yourselves, everybody supported. Everybody was visiting every day. I have to throw a shout out to my mother, who was there every morning as I was there every evening. And my mom just took care of my wife, and that was a beautiful thing too. But one of the things that I did see when I was specifically at Providence was a lady who Janise shared a room with. I didn't put this in the book because it killed me so bad. She had both an aneurysm and a stroke at the same damn time.
Ooh.
And her husband said, "Yeah, didn't sign up for this. I'm out of here."
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that so. My role actually in the hospital there was not only did I take care of Janise. When I'm there, the nurses are so busy; they're dealing with so many patients. I'm there also getting water for this patient in her room and helping out this one, just whatever they needed. I was like the husband for all the women in there. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna go down that road.
Let's not go down. I didn't do that. No fringe benefits on it. but I was there for them, and a lot of people did have people coming in there for them, but there was some people who didn't have anybody coming in for them. So I would urge you that if you have somebody in a hospital, if you have somebody in a long-term care home, you give them life just by being there. You give them breath just by sharing space with them. So I would urge everybody to do that.
I was gonna wrap things up, but but something occurred to me. I need to talk to you about. I kind of want to take it a little direction. As it pertains to the rehab process. Now, I watched my father go through it. I know strokes affect everybody differently, right?
Yeah.
Now, for Janise, it was more, I guess, of mental.
Yeah, it was more memory cognition.
Right.
That was where she was hit.
For my father, it was more physical for him, right? He lost a good portion of the use of one side of his body, and for a man who used to jog 10 kilometers a day, it's been quite a difficult road for him to kind of get used to. So my question is, and I don't know if this is a fair question to ask.
It's all fair.
This is a debate I've been having in my head. Which do you think is a more difficult one to deal with? Knowing that you are physically unable to do something, or not necessarily knowing and yet having all your physical abilities?
I think knowing is worse, right? So I'll just back up and tell you a bit about Janice's situation. She she was kind of like when she woke up out of the hospital. Actually, she had to relearn all the physical things. She couldn't she couldn't speak initially. She couldn't swallow, which really hurt me. I had to go there. I'm sorry.
You wouldn't be you, man. You wouldn't be you if you didn't.
So she had to learn she had to learn to speak. She had to learn to swallow. There's a part in the book where I obviously spoke about that. I made that same dirty joke, but there's a part in the book where she stood for the first time, and that was major. There's a part in the book where she was walking for the first time, when she spoke. You know what I mean? So we did have to go through all of those things. She had a stroke to what they call the thalamus area of her brain, which is called the mini brain, which handles all of the signals that pass through your brain except your olfactory nerve, which is smell. So pretty much she had to relearn all these things. But and she's good now. We do a lot of balancing exercises through yoga to even assist her more. I mean, there's balancing issues still, but what the cognition part is painful because my memory has never been the greatest. Hers was always better than mine, and she would win every argument. Now, of course, I'm winning every argument. I'm joking. Anyway, so where she is now is like she's like she has this beautiful library of information which is there, but she has no index in knowing where things are. So as
The microfiche on the floor.
all over on the floor.
Yeah.
So as every day, actually, I have to kind of run her through where she is and help her out, and she gets it because you make the ties and the lines and the connections to the memories, right? And then what happens is, for example, we've been going to yoga for about a year now, and now she knows that she goes to yoga. She knows the yoga teacher's name, and that is huge because that is something that is learned subsequent to the stroke.
Right.
So that's one way of being, right? And so it's a constant reminder that I have to do of her life, who she is, where she is in her life. But for the other side, I could see that being way more painful because you know what happened to you and you know that you've lost certain functions, So I could see that being painful. Whereas, if you're oblivious to it, then life is cool, right? You know?
So to speak, I suppose. Well, man, I'm glad you came to pay me a visit today here in
I'm
the
so
studio.
happy I came. It's a great conversation.
And for those who are watching, we actually have been. I won't put the camera on, but we've been blessed by Janice's presence as well too. She's here. She came along. She's Andrew's, as in Trinidad, your riding partner.
Absolutely,
right?
Ride or die.
Exactly. So I think we're going to just wrap things up.
Excellent.
Again, thank you for joining me. If you wish to get your book, contact Andrew one more time on the contact information.
You can give me an email at awfsconsulting@gmail.com, or you can phone me at area code 416-254-4935. Alternatively, also it's at your favorite retailer online. You can get either the ebook or the paperback book. Just type in Rebuilding Janise and the book will come up. You'll see a handsome dude who's the author, and take it from there.
All right, so listen, get your book, read your book.
Yes.
Take time to donate to the Heart and Stroke
Please
Foundation.
do.
You may not think it's a big thing, but it is a big thing because you don't know when your turn will come.
Absolutely.
Right? It helps everyone.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you for joining us today. Please pay... Oh, I'm going to throw in a little plug here for myself.
Of course.
For those of you who are looking for life insurance, maybe it's not a good time to talk about it, but life insurance and group benefits and health insurance, I am available. You can reach me. Here's my contact information. Feel free to send me an email. If you can't remember Andrew's information, send me a text or send me an email, and I will connect you with him as well. And whoops, let's get back to here. There's Andrew. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Thank you for having me, man.
And we are going to sign off. Where's my sign off button? There we go.